Welcome everybody to Vicky Schettini, and I'm going to talk about all the passive income coming in. Those of you who don't know me, I was a single mom and I came into Jackson, Mississippi. I decided I was in California, enough was enough. And I decided to come to Jackson, Mississippi because it really is a cash cow. Coming here, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And I ended up without a place to live. So yes, I was pretty much homeless. I started making the right connections, and the perfect person today to have was the man that gave me the chance.
Ah.
So that's him. So those of you who say, well, let me just go back a little bit and say, by the time I got into my first house, I literally had $500 to my name. So that was December 2014, only 4 years ago. So you can do it too. And just to give a little introduction, Walter Wofford, the king of Jackson, the king of everything.
Well,
Welcome, Walter.
Sure. I think that's a little broad there, Vicky. But thank you. Walter Wafford, and I have been investing in Jackson for 38 years. How about that?
Wow.
I must have started in junior high.
I think so, you did. I think so. And I think that's great. I mean, when I was in desperate mode that I didn't have a place to stay and everything was going wrong, I mean, I just started making the calls. I must have called hundreds of people in one day, and I happened to call you. And Walter, you didn't even know me. You didn't know anything about me, and you said, okay, I'll owner finance you a house. Why do you do that? I mean, I told you my whole story and I was determined, but you didn't know me. And now I don't even know if you remember. You knew my name. I don't even think you knew my last name. You had me fill out an application after I was already moved in.
Yeah, that's how we do it here. Well, I'll tell you what was interesting, that what I remember about that is we bought this house from an estate and it needed some work.
And, it did.
And I've just found that you can, from my standpoint, you can sell it for more if you finance them. And so we do a lot of that here in Jackson. But do you remember the negotiation process on that house?
Yes, I do. So Walter says, I can sell this house for about 45, 50,000. And what do you think? How much you want to buy it? And I'm like, to me, 45, coming from California, 45 to 50, to me, I had already hit the gold mine. But so I said, okay, well, I'll buy it for 45. And I wasn't confident when I said it, which that's usually not me. But, you have to think I'm in desperate mode, homeless at the moment. And Walter thought about it, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna go up, and how much money is he gonna need? I'm still gonna be homeless. And Walter says, no, you're gonna buy it from me for 39, and you're gonna do this, and this. So I was like, what? Did it
lower the price?
Yeah, you lowered the price. You lowered the price, actually. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely keeping him on my team. That is 100% for sure. Yeah, it would. And I want to thank you, because again, it's very rare to find people like you out there. And I don't even know if this is Jackson, because we're in the South and I'm not used to people being nice. But it's not. It's also you, because you did give me that chance. And I don't even know if you remember this, but you let me stay at the Love Shack. The Love Shack is Walter's rental home. And I even broke my tailbone at the Love Shack. So, like, if I didn't have enough stuff going on, I had to go and break my tailbone.
Yeah, the house couldn't move in quite yet. I think there was something about the electricity or something. So,
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
So that's really a typical deal in Jackson where we buy wholesale. And, have you heard the term? I know the audience has arbitrage, which is buying in one market and selling in another. So what we do is, buy in a wholesale market and sell in another market. That's what I do to homeowners. Now, you sell primarily for rentals, but it's still the same cash flow, right? We're after,
Correct.
we're after the monthly payments.
Exactly. And if we had, for anyone that's listening out there, is there any advice? Because I when I came here, I came on a mission. I was going to buy my 60 houses, and then in the next 4 years, and then I was going to pay those 60 houses, and then I was going to be done. Well, I reached the 60 way before the 4-year mark. And what if they want to get started? What advice, having the expertise and knowledge that you have, what would you give them? What would you say?
Well, I think if somebody's coming into this market today, I would ask them to go through the mental exercises, figuring out which seat at the real estate table suits them best. You got to figure out what you want to do before I certainly could give any advice on that matter. But, there's so many different, you went off in the management business. That's a great seat at the real estate table, right?
Correct.
The straight rentals is, as long as there's debt on the property, you don't make much money. I mean, you make some money, but you certainly amortize a loan. So that's a good seat if you got a long-term view of, I guess, your life expectancy or your investment life expectancy. A lot of people do the flips. I never have done much of that, buy it for cash and fix it up and sell it, mainly because I'm not very good at that fix-up job. But I tell you what I focus on is we use retirement accounts to invest. And so we'll buy a house with a retirement account, let a tenant rent it for 6 months to a year to make sure they like the house. And then we finance it to them with payments less than rent. And what it usually works out, let's say it's an $800 rental, their payment with taxes and insurance runs about $600. So they give a down payment, they check out the house, they check out the neighborhood, and then it works out pretty good just that way. So you can, any of those, of course, those seats at the real estate table have to be accompanied by the service providers, the contractors, the insurance agents, mortgage servicers, all those things, but you really need to decide what's best for you. And I just like being the connector. I like connecting people and carving out a slice in a mortgage by doing that.
And I fully agree, because the great thing about Jackson, it's kind of like, I mean, it's not so hidden anymore. I think when I first got here, it was a hidden secret. Now there's so many people out here that it's like, okay, how did you guys find out about Jackson? And probably it was part of me too, because I know I've been excited and I have a big mouth and I go tell a lot of people. But I mean, we've had quite a few changes in the market since I've been here. Now, if someone wants to come in, and you mentioned about the connections, how are you able to help them? And I know the answer because you gave it to me, but I wanted to come from your words. You've done it for me. Let me just put it this way.
Well, just decide what you want to do, and then certainly you can contact you or me, or we have several investment clubs here that are active. But, just because we got 3 hedge funds buying in town right now, don't think that there's not opportunity, because they're not even buying 1%, a half of 1% of the houses in the market. It's a big, wide open market today. And if I need to make a point, if I could, Vicki, where are we in the cycle? Where are we in the cycle? So I've been doing this since 1981, and we've been through several cycles, And so what happened in 2008 was this, and it literally stayed down almost 10 years. Almost 10 years it had a decline. And so the local wholesalers all got spoiled because we really could buy houses for $10,000, $15,000 and spend a little money fixing them up and run them for 700 or 800. You really could do that. Now that we have, the market has turned a little bit and prices have gone up at least $10,000. I don't, what do you think? Wholesale prices are up?
Oh, wholesale prices are definitely up. I remember when I first got here, I'm finding the same type of house at least has doubled. At least. There's houses that I bought the first year coming here that there's no way I'm going to find that pricing anymore.
No, but it's still an opportunity because the rents seem to be, Jackson's got high rents and low investment. And we've always had that, really.
Yeah, and I think even though they doubled, the ROI is still great out here. I mean, I haven't seen it anywhere else. I'm not saying, and I haven't been to all 50 states by all means, but compared to, the states that I have been, it's still a way better market. And realistically, for me, I just find, everything I'm finding is a lot of pocket deals. Some are wholesalers. There's still a huge market out here. And I find the hedge funds, even though they are here, yes, there's pricing that are going up, but there's a lot of stuff that they don't take for, I hate to say the stupid things. I had a colleague that they wouldn't take her house because there was a pit bull loose in the neighborhood. So I'm like, what? That makes no sense.
But they had their criteria. They had their
criteria. So there's a lot of great deals to be able to buy. Now, the REI clubs, and again, I've always tell people is join REI clubs. There's online. We have one big one that is online that you're more welcome to join. How would someone be able to get in touch with you and learn more? Because Walter and we're going to have other episodes with Walter, and he's all about self-directed IRAs. He is like, and I've told everybody, the king of trust. No, we've been talking a little bit about the notes. It was a great thing. And I think I mentioned this before. I spoke at a podcast. It was about notes. And I said I was from Jackson, Mississippi. And two of the people said, isn't that where Walter's from? And I'm like, yes, that's him. That's the one I'm telling you about. So it was actually pretty cool and exciting. So, I feel like I hit the lotto when I came here and met you. But it's really, you're just
just contact information. Just send me an email would be the best way. Walter Wofford at Gmail, WalterWofford at gmail.com. Just send me an email and tell me what you're looking for. And the advantage that I have both of my sons are property managers and real estate agents and brokers here in town. So we share a lot of information. We have family meetings where we start out with what's the scuttlebutt? What have you heard? Who's buying what? Who's doing this? And it's a very powerful meeting. So it's not just what I know, it's the other people, what they're sharing. And it's an active market right now, way more active now than ever. And I tell this to people all the time that I've been doing this for 38 years. To me, this is the best time to be in real estate because we got a lot of energy and money flowing into our market. So that means there's opportunities, lots of opportunities. And so, if you wanted to wholesale houses, you could do that. You got to come in here and figure out how to buy them. If you want to be a funder for these wholesales and take a slice of the profit, you certainly can do that. If you want to be a funder that gets long-term interest rates, and those, they may be 8 to 10% long-term, and wouldn't that be about right for you?
That's right.
Vicky?
That's right.
And Go ahead.
One of the things too is like people keep, they're stressing about, the market, crashing or anything like that. I've been in California and I've seen, I mean, you don't even know what we went through when the market crashed. It was like ridiculous. We didn't have so many, we've heard about owner financing. I've never seen it done in California. I'm not saying it doesn't get done. But so it was traditional funding. They would go to people would go to banks and get loans. I've had it that they had already signed their loan documents and it was time to fund the deal. And that day that loan got canceled. So it was insane what was going on. Now, I don't worry about that stuff in Jackson because I'm not in that market. So to me, even let's say worst case scenario, the market does crash, it doesn't affect me because I am in the rental market. So, and then here in Jackson, if you have a crash and people do lose houses, I don't think Jackson, and I wasn't here in 2008, so maybe you can touch a little bit more on that. I don't think it gets affected very much because you might have a little bit pricing going down, but we are not buying for appreciation. You're buying for passive income. And that's where there's so much opportunity. So if people do lose houses, which, at these prices, I don't think it gets affected here, but the rental market will always exist to me.
I think you're right. Let me give you an example of one we did Friday. Okay, this is fresh. So
Okay.
we bought a house about a year ago from a bank, and it was I think we paid $27 for it. Now this was a 1,900 square foot house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, central air and heat. Okay, had tenants in there. We got the tenants out, and then we got a homeowner. So the rental on this particular house, by the way, it's assessed at $90,000, is about $1,000 a month. That's what I think it is. We sold it with financing to a homeowner on Friday, where their payments are $725, including taxes and insurance.
Oh, wow. That's phenomenal.
And they put a down payment, and we got them qualified through Dodd-Frank compliance. And so they're very happy with the deal. But that's, and we will make more money financing that house than we would renting the house. So that's my take.
And if you do the numbers, that's something that it took me a long time to realize is you do make more money if you finance houses.
Well, you don't have vacancies, you don't have repairs.
At all.
Those two are big items. Don't forget those.
Huge items. Huge. So
or vandalism.
Yeah, because you have somebody staying at the house all the time. So I think to me, Jackson, it's just golden. Now, let me ask you another question. I know we're running out of time. We have a few minutes left, but do you think, are we going to have a shortage in the market? Do you foresee anything coming up? Because that's one of the questions I get asked. What about the inventory? Are you going to run out of inventory?
Well, there's no one dominant player in this market. There's not. And so, you could think about this. If you had somebody that dominated 10% of the market, gobbled it all up, which has happened in other markets, that might be a shortage, but that's not our situation. If at most they may be buying 15 to 20 houses a month, that is a small percentage of the houses out there. I'm talking about the hedge funds right now. There's always opportunity. Right. If you got the skill to see what the opportunity is.
Exactly. And it's all about networking too. Again, I think Jackson is different than other states because you have the Southern hospitality, I think it is. And if you're not used to that, you really need to come here because it is different and people are nice. So you just need to get to know the market. So we're running out of time, but thank you. I wanted to bring you back to touch bases on everything else you do because it is amazing. Knowledge is like a walking, Walter is a walking library when it comes to real
I'm
estate.
old. I'm old. That's
No.
old.
Well,
Well,
thank you again.
let me, Vicky, let me tell them one thing that just to kind of give you the areas that I am focused on is we exclusively use title holding trust. And that's a skill that you got to learn how to do rather than owning an LLC. Separate your assets with a separate trust for each asset. That's very important. We do seller financing both when we're buying and selling. And so how to negotiate profitable seller financing when buying is an interesting topic. Also when selling. And of course, the IRA world is everything I do involves a self-directed tax-free IRA, everything we do. And so we do a lot of teaching on that. And so that when you combine those trust seller financing IRAs and put them in a market, you got so much flexibility on how you do things. And certainly it minimizes taxes. Can I say one more thing? And I want to put a point on it. So every time I present somewhere, I ask the question, and a lot of people have heard this, but which would you rather have, $1 million today, I'm going to give it to you, or a penny that doubles every 30 days? Which would you rather have?
It sounds like a trick question, so I will say a penny that doubles every day.
Well, $1 million today versus 5 million at the end of 30 days. And do the math and just double a penny every day and see that. Now, the point I wanted to make was if you had to pay taxes at 30% every time that penny doubled, you know what you'd have at the end of that time frame? So at 5 million, if you don't pay taxes, what do you think it is if you had to pay taxes?
Oh, 5 million. If you don't, probably about 3 million.
48,000.
Oh,
48,000. So that's why you can't afford not to engage the world of retirement accounts. You've got to engage them if you're interested in building net worth and cash flows tax-free long-term. You've got to understand this area. And so that's the reason we talk about that.
That sounds like definitely we need to talk a little bit more because I'm not even into so much of the self-directed IRAs. So definitely we need to learn more. Well, we are out of time. So thank you again for not everything you have done for me, but really you have affected myself, my family, my daughter, and it's huge. I just can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.